Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your night to join me. I'd really appreciate that. Tonight, I want to talk about comedians. And I'm not just saying that because you may think I'm a clown. And in fact, may be your circus, and I could potentially be your clown. And I'm happy to do that. I tell everybody, I tell you all the time, I'm here to entertain, and that's what it is. But at some point, I also get influence and draw inspiration from the things in my life, and I'm a pretty boring guy, and I always have and will always continue to be the same person. And I love watching movies and TV shows, and not just because it's fun and keeps me entertained. I think that's a big part of it, but certainly I just value production. I value creativity. I think it's more tough than people like to admit to put on that creative hat and be an actor or perform on stage or be a Broadway dancer or dance in public or dance on camera. I mean, you feel me? There's different kinds of entertainers and different kinds of ways we find entertainment, but entertainers and entertainment is a constant. I mean, the Colosseum in Rome is still standing partially. I mean, there's stories in famous American folk songs and modern day contemporary music that discuss the relationship of different kinds of jesters in historical times. Everyone's always trying to be entertained, and we especially know that rich folks love their entertainment. So much so that it's anyways, they come out with really weird movies sometimes. It's sort of cringe, honestly. I mean, it's kind of weird thinking that a good part of the 90s were all like released like these major movie deals, and distributors were all essentially run by the same guy who came to be known as the leader of the free Me Too movement. I mean, it's like a lot of things. But, anyways, let's continue to talk about comedians. And I always joke, and I feel like humor is something that is underrated low key. I feel like people don't think of humor as something that's like integral. I feel like in sometimes or in some cases, I think I've known some people or I've known of some people that haven't smiled in decades, and I think it's real unfortunate for them. I mean, you can literally see it on their face. I just feel like laughter, and I feel like laughter is a good thing, is what I was going to say. Not just half thought, but laughter is an emotion that is often evoked from humor. It's, something that is triggered because something happens that's funny, or in some certain instances, and in very rare cases, when we're anxious or scared. You feel me? But laughing is, I would say, a biological response to understanding that, well, yes, we're all sentient and we're all so Darwinian about wanting to survive and propagate our species, and this is our mission. We got to explore them cosmos and delineate all of the history that we're told and believe that it's all accurate, when we can't go a handful of months without a local politician or a national running mate or national like political mate, like person that's running, going through some type of scandal. You feel me? So like, I'm just not sure how reliable history is. So regardless, I do know that my history, involves like my real deep appreciation for humor. And I just love jokes. I love laughing. I love joking. I love roasting myself. And some people that have influenced me, I think, in the stand up realm as a millennial. I'm 37, but I'm approaching 40 pretty quick. And I feel like I'll be 40 and saying that I'm 40 here on camera sooner than I'd like to imagine. But things will change, obviously. I hope they do, and for the better. Oh my goodness. Anyways, but so some of the people that have influenced me, obviously, are stand up comedians like Jerry Seinfeld. You feel me? I mean, like, even when I started watching the show, like when I had seen parts of it when I was young and I really couldn't understand the humor, so I kind of set it off and just became kind of a huge fan, like a fanatic, in that like I really enjoy, like, it's just good writing. And I grew up, like with my big Pinocchio nose and books. I mean, I've literally read thousands of books. I know that sounds not accurate, but I can assure you that it is. I mean, I've read so many books that I couldn't even tell you all of the books that I used to just read books to read them. Like I love reading, and I think as an adult and as technology became more accessible and cheaper, you feel me? Honestly, and obviously, I attended public school and always very fortunate to attend a public school that had a pretty solid infrastructure with staff and administration being on point and getting grants that were given to them that had to be applied for through RFPs and so forth. And I mean, they went through a lot of trouble to make sure that we had computers and the access to the internet. I mean, like that was a given. And again, I attended public school. So like I just appreciate the art of humor and of comedy and moreover of just being artistic and creative and coming up with jokes and being silly. I think it's takes more intellect to be silly and to roast yourself and to not take everything so personal than it is to kind of be, you know, grim and somber and just like kind of emo leaning, you know, sad because the world really is kind of a terrible place. I mean, I just, that's kind of the truth, you know, a lot of people suffer, a lot of people hurt, but then like it's also something that is kind of like a medicine in that, well, we all recognize that. And I feel like a lot of us do our best to make the world a better place, but it's just outweighed, you know, by people that have hundreds of billions of dollars and a federal government that is controlled by corrupt individuals that in no way, shape, or form have our best interests at heart. And that is regardless of whether you're a conservative or you're a liberal or you're extreme right or extreme left. You feel me? Like it doesn't really matter. I think in the end, we should all understand that you know, a good majority of the world is run by a small number of people, and collectively speaking, I just am never quite sure why the billions of us that, you know, kind of support that very, you know, top tiered pyramid kind of Ponzi like scheme structure that the world is run on don't, you know, really try to make that more equitable. And I feel like not eat the rich, not January 6th, not anything weird, you feel me? No coups here. And I truly mean that. It's just, it's got to be change that comes from within, and it's got to be from people who want to make it something that's worthwhile. And so people like, you know, Jerry Seinfeld, people like Tim Allen, even people like Adam Sandler. These people, these older dudes now, you feel me, have been making me laugh for like my whole life. So, you know, I mean, yeah, at some level, I'm gonna like really deeply appreciate what they do, even if it's silly, even if it's very self driven, even if it's very egotistical, in that that's kind of the exchange one makes when taking all of the worst things in the world and trying to make sense of them by coping with humor. You feel me? Like essentially that's what it is, you know? That's like, and I think that's something very tragic that is very specifically directed toward a human trait that is something that, unfortunate or fortunate or, you know, however it is, we all, 98% of us here on this planet, I guess, you know, really have in common, and we share that. And so we may not all speak the same language, but I don't think that smiling is anything more, or laughing, right? I don't think laughing can be faked. I mean, obviously it can. Emotions can be faked. Actors exist. Awards are given for the best of them. But I just truly feel like it's even more powerful than nonverbal communication. It's the most powerful kind of nonverbal communication. And nonverbal communication, after all, is the leading indicator of how someone is, you know, communicating with you. And I feel like a lot of us, and it's not body language expert stuff. It's not Googling or, you know, searching on YouTube for body language experts that are former FBI agents. You know, if he moves to the right, he's lying, guys. And, you know, if his eye moves up and down for a half a millisecond and his shoulders move just slightly by 10 degrees, in my 80 years of experience as a secret agent, they're lying. You know, I mean, I've seen these videos, and then more interesting is I've also seen dozens of videos that debunk, you know, the prevailing theory that there's really any kind of accurate and standardized model that can be taught from human to human or from anything else, because it's like we are humans, as it concerns predicting our behavior or gauging our honesty based on not I just it's just anyways. I hope that you guys have a really good night. I hope that you guys at some point in your lives value something just as much as I do, because I know that I'm 37, and again, since Michelangelo first cracked his cowabunga, I have been the most happy person that I can possibly be, even at the worst of times. And it's because of my, I like to laugh. I feel like my brain prefers to laugh more than it does to hurt, and even when it's like super hurting, it's really comforting to be able and remedy that in a small kind of a way. So, yeah, I like comedy. I like being a clown. I like entertaining you. I like talking to myself for 40 minutes straight every single night. And that's not going to change. So, I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thank you for watching my show, and bye.